And those are your headlines. And of course, as promised earlier, our reporter crossings and taking you to the Western Cape now, where the e-voting conference in Cape Town will facilitate an informed national dialogue about the feasibility, sustainability and policy implications of electronic voting in South Africa. Now, the three-day conference will bring together South Africans from all sectors of society, including political leaders, decision makers, business, civil society, and of course, the public. SABC News reporter Natatsha Phiri is covering that conference for us, and she's touched down in Cape Town, so let's catch up with her. Natatsha, good morning. We spoke to the IEC chairperson, Masutu Muyepia, earlier on, but of course, this not the first time that South Africa is basically touching base with regard to this particular issue of e-voting, but what's to be expected? What's on the agenda for this week?
Oh, thank you so much, Sakina. Of course, to our SABC viewers, certainly not the first time a conversation like this actually opens up, but it certainly will be the first time where policymakers, political parties, some within the technology space, civil society, as well as politicians, Sakina, will be all sitting around one table actually discussing the possibilities of, e-voting. When we spoke to the IEC CEO, Simon Mamabolo, last week, he just said that it's not a definite thing, but because the world and the country is moving towards using systems like AI, it is definitely a chance to actually open up some conversations like this. But of course, Sakina, there has been some opposition to this. If you remember very well at the President's 2025 Stone address earlier on this year, President Ramaphosa had actually spoken about, South African moving or governments actually implementing a digital ID system. And reacting to that, we saw the MK spokesperson, Kamulo Ndlela, saying that they are opposed to that, as it will mean that the country will move towards e-voting and, the challenges around cyber attacks of the system. And, you read through some of the countries that have actually implemented e-voting, like Estonia, like India, like Brazil. There is that disadvantage of, cyber attacks. But of course, the advantage of introducing such a system like that is that everybody will get a chance to actually vote. So these are just some of the discussions that are expected to come up at the e-voting conference. And more importantly, there will be a discussion document that will be launched that will actually explore the crucial aspects related to e-voting and the implications to the country. You mentioned the issue of feasibility as well, sustainability. These are some issues that are going to be coming up. So interesting conversations that we expect, interesting times. We expect the program to actually start.
Well, our apologies, losing that connection to Natatsha Phiri, and she is, of course, in Cape Town and will be following those proceedings for us. Very interesting conversation.